Hey, welcome everybody to the Jim Master Show live entertainment lifestyle talk show series. It's good to have you with us today. How's everybody doing? Hope you guys are doing well. We always love when you're with us because we have a good time together. This is an entertainment lifestyle talk show series where truly we are bringing back the lost art of conversation. It's not just an interview show where we're talking to the guests and then we talk about the CD or the book or the movie and then out, which is question, answer, question, answer. We have a good time here. Our viewers watching from around the world, literally from the United States, Canada, Asia, Europe, Africa, Australia, and all points in between, up and down, left and right. It's really extraordinary. Thanks also for all the love, or levity as we call it here on the show, all the comments, all the support, all of the wonderful things you've been saying on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook. Matter of fact, you can find me on all of those locations, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, all at Jim Masters TV. And of course, you're watching our incredible episode here on our YouTube channel, which is Jim Masters TV. We would love it if you would subscribe to the channel you're watching right now. That helps us big time. The channel is Jim Masters TV. Now, don't be fooled. You see that red subscribe button and you might think subscribe means you're getting a magazine subscription or you're subscribing to a cable channel or something. No, there's no cost. They should actually change that word subscribe to follow. You're following the series, you're watching the series, you're enjoying the series. That helps us out when you do click that red subscribe button. And also don't forget to, when you do that, click the notification bell. That's that little bell icon that's next to the subscribe button. That way you're always abreast of all of the shows that we do. I mean, we've done well over 485 shows and counting, and then some, and multiple shows sometimes in a day. Sometimes we do 2 shows in a day. Sometimes we do live surprise pop-up shows where we chat with the viewers back and forth. And that's really a cool show as well. And you guys talk about your lives and you talk about what's going on in your world. And it's a host and viewer levity chat. And I love that too. But thanks again to everybody who's been spreading the word about this series. We are sprinkling in a little of that Dick Cavett, Carson style of a warm conversational freestyle conversations. And we're mixing it with a modern vibe of today. And it's an unusual blend and it seems to be working. And again, we're continuing with this series. A lot of people said, Jim, you work in television and radio throughout the day. Is this something you can do just during the pandemic time? And I said, no, as long as you guys are there and you're out there and you're watching and you're telling everybody about our fun series, we'll be here for you doing everything we can to entertain and inspire and have a good time with you as well. So thanks so much for being with us. We do have, and we welcome everybody. Folks are commenting as we go along here. We thank you for that. You can comment during the live show, or you can just kick back and watch. We would love it if you comment on our YouTube channel and give this episode a thumbs up as well. Hey, I've got a very special guest. Yes, we're excited to have, isn't that a cool shot? Famed New York photographer Jeffrey Hornstein is with us live and direct from New York City. He's joining us. And again, he is extraordinary at what he does. He loves what he does, and he's very talented as well. For over 25 years, he's been a much sought after photographer in New York, and he's known for actor headshots, corporate portraits, and so much more for major companies, corporations, broadcasting entities, actors, actresses, so many people. He's worked on a coffee table book as well, gallery show featuring luminaries and legends in the worlds of art and culture. And we're going to talk about that and a lot of other really incredible things. Some of the folks that he has photographed, Paul Sorvino, Helen Gurley Brown, and many, many others. He's, again, really extraordinary at what he does. He's been doing this for a long time. He's a real talent. He has a unique eye. And I'm very excited. Let me just show you. We're going to show you some of this work as we go along and talk about it. But these are just a few. If you can see the quality of what he does. I mean, they say it's all in the eyes, right? It really, really is. Now, I myself have done a lot of, headshots over the years, and you really want to find somebody who is very good at what they do, and you have a good time with too. You want the experience to be pleasurable, and Jeffrey is known for making it a pleasurable time. I mean, he's a stickler. He's very dedicated, and he's perfectionist in certain ways, which is actually great, but warm and relatable too. You want that too. Somebody, when you go there, you're going to have a good time with, whether it's an indoor scenario or you're outdoors, does outdoor shots as well. Sometimes you want something that's super glamorous, or you want something that's a little more stoic and corporate, or you want something that's just fun. He does it all, and he knows how to bring out the best in the folks that are having the work done. And that is the key to it all. You know what I mean? Because it's as much as it is the work, it is an art form, and it's all about relationships. As I know, as a host, it's all about relationships that you have with people. In this case, it's with the guests, and it's with you, the viewers. So really, really cool to have him here on the show. And it's my pleasure to welcome him here from New York City. And why don't we do that together right now as he joins us from New York City? Jeffrey, welcome to the show. It's good to have you with us.
Great to be here, Jim.
So how are you today?
I'm doing good, just chilling out here in my apartment. I live uptown in above Washington Heights in Inwood.
Washington Heights, yeah.
But my studio's in Midtown on West 30th.
And, and you've been doing this a long time, as I mentioned, right?
100 years.
How did you?
Since the days of film.
Were we just talking about that before live on the air? A seasoned veteran.
Yes, I'm seasoned.
Veteran. How'd you get started? What was it about photography specifically that caught your eye, pun intended?
Well, I was working. I came to New York a while back, and I started off working in nightclubs, discos, as a dancing busboy.
Really?
Yeah.
You don't want to bust a move now, do you? No, you have the camera and all set up there.
That's how I bust my move.
Right.
And then I started working I worked for the Association of American Publishers. But these were kind of boring desk jobs, and both my parents are more artistic. My mom, she's still with us. She's a famous children's poet.
What's her name?
Patricia Hubble.
Oh, sure.
She's had many books published by Harper and Row, Athenaeum, a lot of big publishers throughout her career. She doesn't do it right now, so I come from that background, and I was not fulfilled working behind a desk. And so it got very frustrating.
Yeah.
So I had always been drawn to photography and inspired. When I was in Connecticut, that's where I'm from. I actually was an actor. I did local theater at the Polka Dot Playhouse.
Oh, yeah.
In Bridgeport. And,
sure.
It was called the Downtown Cabaret Theater.
Downtown Cabaret Theater, right.
I was named Claude McNeil, who ran it.
Mm-hmm.
Different venues. And so, that's how I got the feel of the arts really in me. I enjoyed that. But then when I came to New York, I kind of didn't really enjoy acting as much for some reason. It didn't seem as fun for me. You have to be super dedicated to it. So I wanted to experience the fun nightlife of New York. So I did some partying for a few years, and then went into as I say, the more corporate world. And that, as I say, was a complete bore for me. And So I started thinking about what would be, well, when I was really, well, when I was much younger, when I was like 17, 18 years old, I was involved heavily in the world of dog shows.
Oh, wow.
So I used to, yeah, so I
Yeah.
used to show dogs, all kinds, even at Westminster. And that was so colorful, and I was so fascinated by the people
Yeah,
and the
sure.
characters, almost as much as the dogs, if not sometimes even more. There were some wild people in it. And
Yeah.
so I guess I started studying people,
Yes,
and I said,
observing.
how was that? How could I make and then I started thinking about what should I try to do? And I loved at the time, I was much more into fashion
Mm,
than I was into performers or headshots, which I segued into. So I guess what happened was I'm not going to say the year, but it was a while back, and I quit the job and I just decided to be a photographer. Back in the day, we would shoot film, not digital. And I took some courses at International Center of Photography, which is a great school. And then I learned from other photographers too by helping them out and sort of apprenticing a little bit. Yeah. And so I did that. And then started my own little thing, just basically testing what they call test shoots of the models at the big agencies.
right.
And at that time, you didn't have the internet, like today. So you just had to really go in and be very confident. I started off in my I was living in an SRO at the time. We pushed the futon up against the wall, and
Yeah.
it was beautiful. And then we had a great roof and a park. I lived on the Upper West Side, so that's how I kind of started with that, and just walked in with a few pictures to Elite and Wilhelmina and all the Ford, all the big agencies, and blessedly they gave me models to shoot, and then I built up the portfolio. And then the first magazine that I worked for was a wonderful magazine called MGF, Men's Guide to Fashion. And it was the guy who published it was Gerald Rothberg, who was the original founder and publisher of Circus magazine, a big
Oh,
rock.
yeah. Sure. Yeah.
So he gave me my first really big break, and I did a lot of magazine editorials for them. And it's always that gives you the thrill, you're seeing your name in lights in, the magazine. And well, that kind of hooks you into it even more. And from there, I did other fashion editorials for different magazines. Like at the time, there was a magazine which is now called Flaunt, but it was called Detour Magazine, from originally published in Dallas. Did a lot of editorials for them, and also some celebrity profiles for them, or up and coming directors. I would, it was very, very interesting. One of my first shoots for them was at the Chelsea Hotel.
Oh, really?
It was this fellow Norman Gosney, I think his name was. I don't know. I don't remember what he did, but he was a celebrity, and he lived in the penthouse of the Chelsea Hotel. So that was really cool.
Mm.
So, you get started like that. I did more fashion editorials. I did the covers of Genre magazine, which is a wonderful. I don't know if it's still published. It's kind of like Out magazine, but on the West Coast.
Mm.
It was catering more to the gay community, but really a fabulous magazine. I photographed Marc Jacobs for the cover.
Oh, yeah.
I remember he was 3 hours late, but that's okay. He showed
hey,
up.
but he's there. Yeah.
But he was there, and I took some great pictures of him jumping up and down on a trampoline, and that was the cover. Then I photographed another cover with 3 luminaries: Douglas Carter Bean, Todd, the guy who did forget that movie. Well, but it's the movie
The big one.
they adopted from the Douglas Sirk. I don't know. It was a big movie. But anyway,
It was a big movie.
It was a great movie, yeah. And him and another person, all 3 of them on the cover. And then I did a photo insert of a lot of celebrities. It was an insert called "Men We Love." That's very subjective, but one of them was Billy Norwich, who was contributing editor at Vogue, and Stuart Elliott, who was the advertising columnist for the New York Times, and Paul Rudnick, who we know, the Addams Family Values, and Jeffrey, all these great things that he wrote and directed. So I profiled those people. So that got me thinking more in terms of being a portrait photographer rather than fashion, because fashion really, it's exciting, but it doesn't pay that well unless you're really, really Annie Leibovitz or somebody, I did a lot of editorial, and even though it's glamorous, sort of, it doesn't really pay the bills as well as it could. So I did that. And then I said, well, then a friend of mine said, if you want to make more of a little living, you maybe try doing actors' headshots and portraits and stuff like that. So that's how I got into that, and which is what I continue to do today.
Who are some of the folks that you've had an opportunity to photograph? Many, over 25 plus years, you've photographed so many people, huh?
So many. Well,
any that stand out for you?
Sure. Oh, many. So one of the first ones that I photographed was Kelly Ripa.
Oh, yeah.
She came to the...
you and I were just talking about Ryan and Kelly before we went live on the air.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah. She was very nice. She was trying to, at the time, I think she herself was trying to change from soaps to being a talk show host. And she had some fellow with her. She was very nice. He was kind of rude. She was very nice. I remember she did smoke a lot though, but, and very pretty. And, so I photographed her, and then when Matthew Fox of Lost.
Oh yes, right, yeah, sure. And wasn't he also Party of Five too?
Yes,
Party of Five.
He played Charlie
on the Fox network. On Charlie, yes.
It was great. And I actually did a shoot in that SRO of him that I started in. It was an underwear shoot. It was fun. Yeah.
Is he still performing? I haven't seen him since Lost.
I don't know what's going on with
that
him.
Series on ABC, Lost, which was
really going on with him. That series was interesting. It kind of lost me.
Yeah.
at a certain point. But
right.
Another one that I really enjoyed working with, again in that little place of mine, was Nestor Carbonell, who was featured in the recent show about Norman Bates, Psycho.
I know which one you're talking about.
Bates Hotel.
Yeah, right.
And he played Sheriff Romero in that. So he's quite a well-known working actor. Now,
Mm,
those are a few. Jennifer Esposito, who's on Blue Bloods, and she was in the
sure.
movie, started the movie Crash. She's
Yeah,
been quite successful. She was married, I think, at one point to Bradley Cooper.
that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, you know who I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah. And actually, I had a shoot actually with Curtis Sliwa's wife at the time, Lisa Sliwa, who was a model with Elite. And she was strong as a woman. And we went up on the roof of my building, and she climbed right up on those stairs. Amazing.
Yeah.
Strength. So my most favorite, okay, like this project that I'm working on, I've been working on a coffee table / gallery show. It's been a long time, since it's been like 20 years that I've been working on it, but it's featuring luminaries and celebrities and people of note in the worlds of arts, entertainment, and culture over the age of, well, basically 60 or over,
Hmm.
seasoned. It all started with Tony Randall.
Felix Unger. Hmm.
Good place to start.
Great actor. Yeah.
Great actor and actually a great guy.
A great person. Yeah.
I first photographed him for a commercial job where he was performing at Avery Fisher Hall, Lincoln Center. He was reading selections from, of all things, Babar the Elephant.
Wow.
I know. And he performed along with a pianist. And the pianist got in touch with me and said, would you do the shoot? It's going to be shot at the campgrounds where Barnum and Bailey, who's no longer, but where they do their rehearsals. And so that was, I photographed Tony on top of an elephant. And if you remember, I believe he did a famous movie back in the 50s with, I think Marilyn Monroe was in it, where he played the circus master.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah. And he was a natural on the elephant, so, and that turned out really well. So then I got it in my head, why don't I try to photograph more of these seasoned professionals, more of these, stars that are not young, but they're still active.
Yeah.
I want to show that just because a person's of a certain age
doesn't mean that they're finished.
Doesn't mean that they're ready to just go into the rest home. I mean, some may have to, unfortunately, but that's the idea of the book. So I approached Tony a couple of years after. I said, "Do you remember me? I photographed you in front of the elephant." So he did, and he was kind enough to invite me to his beautiful, wow, it's such a beautiful home. I mean, really, movie stars and people, they do live differently than.
Was it in New York?
In New York at the Beresford, which is a beautiful building.
Yes.
And it wasn't my first time. It wasn't going to be my first time or last time there. It turned out he had 2 apartments in one, and he was married to a much younger woman.
Yes, that's right.
He introduced me to her.
They had a child or something, right? Yeah.
I think he was 72
at that point, right?
So, and so I photographed him there, and then, he was so nice. He took me into his office, his home office, and he introduced me to his friends. He gave me their information, Eli Wallach.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Hume Cronin. Yeah. So I got in touch with them, and I had Eli Wallach come to the studio. At that time, I had moved from the SRO to a beautiful penthouse in Soho, quite a change. And then, but after that, I moved to a studio on West 14th Street. Okay. So, and it didn't have an elevator, and Eli Wallach was in his 80s, and he had a hip replacement. He made it right up those stairs.
Wow.
Guy. And I have a great pictures of him and Tony on my website. Actually, he had a beautiful ring. One half of the ring was drama, and the other half was a comedy. So and after each sitting with these people, I do a little interview. So it will add to the context, you see. Because I want to say a little something about them along with the photos for the book. And so there was Eli, and then Hume Cronin lived not far from where I was born and raised in Fairfield County in Connecticut. And I went to his house, and at that point, he was remarried to a famous woman poetess or poet by the name of Susan Cooper. And I ended up doing her publicity shots after I photographed Hume. And he was such a gentleman. I just think of him as an old salt, like real class act. He's Canadian, and I didn't realize that. But who could forget him? And well, I'm sure a lot of people that aren't a certain era would forget him, but I can't forget him in the movie Lifeboat, which was, I believe,
that's right.
Tallulah.
Would you believe we just watched that again last weekend?
Really?
Yeah.
Well, there you go. And Tallulah Bankhead is
Tallulah Bankhead, yes.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
And I couldn't get her because she's not alive. So
right.
My loss.
Yeah.
But anyway, so we did that. And so then, gosh, there's been so many that I photographed for this project. If you don't mind me telling you about them. Unless you want to ask me some other questions.
No, this is great hearing about some of these stories with some of these legends.
There's one, the Paul Sorvino. Amazing guy. I'm friends with, earlier, like a few years earlier, I had a gallery show that Carmen D'Alessio helped organize for me, who I just recently photographed. She's the Queen of the Night, a legendary nightclub on Presario. She basically was she was definitely one of the founders of Studio 54. So she threw this party for me. And I guess I met both Amanda and what's the other Sorvino sister?
You met Amanda?
Amanda Sorvino, and the one who was in the I don't know. Amanda Sorvino became my good friend.
Mira, right.
Mira
Sorvino, that's right. Mira
is
the sister, right?
Yes, and she's very talented, wonderful, and the whole family is a great talent. So Amanda, I did her headshots and got friendly with her, and she's an animal rescuer. She's wonderful, and so she had me come down to the farm. Paul Sorvino is the honorary mayor in Scranton, I think a town near Scranton, Pennsylvania, and he's the honorary sheriff. And she had me down there and to photograph some of the horses in the rescue. was, you know, so I did that. And then she said, you can photograph my dad while you're down here. And he's like a big, you saw Goodfellas? Well, that's
Mm-hmm.
how he is, like in a
Yeah.
way, a big presence. Really, and he's an opera singer too. So the funny thing is, the funny story is that they have a really aggressive German Shepherd and an aggressive wolf.
I would
Yeah,
imagine on some of these photo shoots you've had these
yeah.
interesting
So,
experiences where
so
you've
when I
come.
got out of the SUV
Yeah.
that she had, the shepherd came circling me, and or the wolf, and he put his teeth right here. And
Oh,
Paul said to me, you know, I like you already. You have a good way with animals.
yeah.
You're a
Yeah.
good person. I said, oh, that's nice.
Meanwhile, you're
I think
bleeding.
he, I think he said, because he put the FedEx worker in the hospital last month.
Oh no.
Forgive me if that's a misquote, but something to that effect. He's a fantastic man and a great performer, and I believe he's appearing in The Godfather of Harlem on TV right now.
Mm.
So he's working, still working,
Yeah,
and
still doing his thing.
doing
Absolutely.
his thing. Gave me a great interview. The daughter's great. So there was that. Remember Joe Franklin?
Oh yeah, Channel 9.
I
Yes.
photographed Joe,
Did you? Yeah, I met
and
him
he
a couple
was
times.
he
Nice
was
guy.
nice guy.
You didn't have to go to his office, did you? Because that was
Oh,
loaded
that's
with
congested.
memorabilia.
Yeah, he's a
Oh,
hoarder.
did you
But
go there to the office?
no, I went to his actual radio state where he records, his
Yeah.
recording studio.
Yeah.
Because my friend Steve Guerin introduced me to him. Steve is a wonderful guy. He introduced me to quite a few people. So Joe was interviewing Polly Bergen while I was there,
Mm-hmm.
and that was pretty cool. And I asked her; she didn't want her picture taken that day, but that's okay.
Yeah, sometimes,
I mean, she didn't know what it's all about. So Joe was really great, and they don't make him like that. He's
No, he was a
unusual
legend.
character. He was a legend, and he was kind of quirky. He always had
Yes.
quirky people on his show.
Yes.
It's very interesting.
Yeah.
Another one Steve Guerin introduced me to was the legendary comic Pat Cooper.
Oh yeah. Yes.
Is a amazing guy. He told me some stories. I'm not going to repeat them. But, no, I don't want to repeat them. But I did his book cover. How dare you say? How dare you say? How dare you me? Something like that was the name of it. And really, we played a little prank on my assistant, and you have to take him with just comedians are a different breed.
It's a whole other,
Full of energy. They're very hyper, a lot of them. It's a whole different vibe.
Yeah.
But they're great. And of course, you showed before on the screen the legendary Tova Feldshuh that I photographed.
Yes.
That you showed. That was another time on the Upper West Side. That was fairly recently. Like, there she is. There she is. That was photographed right in front of her window. Very soft light.
Yeah.
And Tova's always active as a performer. She was in she had a big role in The Walking Dead.
Mm-hmm.
And she was in 2 seasons as a lead. And of course played Leona Helmsley recently off Broadway.
That's right.
Yeah, and Golda Meir, and she's
you can, when you look at her, you could see all of that too.
Yeah, she's a very confident person.
Yeah.
And her apartment is gorgeous.
Yeah.
To die for.
It's a beautiful shot. That's really,
you.
Yeah, really,
Thank
really.
You. She gave me a nice little interview too. And she said she was very happy with the pictures because I give these people, the subjects that I photograph, I give them some complimentary retouch pictures
Oh, nice.
afterwards.
Yeah.
And now, okay, so one of my favorites was another one in the Beresford. But this particular woman lived in the penthouse that she bought from Mike Nichols.
Oh, wow.
And you might know it's a certain Helen Gurley Brown, who was the editor-in-chief for many years of Cosmopolitan magazine and wrote Sex and the Single Girl.
That's right.
And she's married to the very Academy Award-winning producer David Brown. He won for Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid.
That's right.
He gave me a great interview, and she was great. She wore a Pucci outfit that she said she used to lunch with Jacqueline Suzanne in this outfit, you know. I mean, it's like, you know, God rest your soul, you know.
So you've come
Some of
across
these people are like, you
Yeah.
know, they're deceased, you know.
Right. Is there anybody that you wish you had an opportunity to photograph? I mean, I'm sure there's many.
Yes.
Male, female, what have you?
I've tried some. They don't all want to be photographed. So you just have to go out there and try. I remember calling Eartha Kitt, another one, God rest her soul. And she goes, I'll do it for $1 million. Now, what could I say? I didn't have $1 million.
How about 500,000?
Yeah, maybe we could come to a compromise. You deal with all kinds, but she was amazing. You know, I would love to photograph Rita Moreno.
Oh, yes.
I would love to photograph Chita Rivera.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the first Black supermodels like Patty Cleveland, Alva Chin, I would love to photograph. These are more from the fashion industry because it isn't just actors that I'm doing with this. It's people from all walks of life. And, you know, but they have to be a certain age. You know, that's the thing.
For that project, you mean?
Yes. One I photographed that was great. If you remember Jeffrey Holder.
Sure, yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
He was wonderful. He was something else. What a great face.
What's your ultimate goal with the project, you think?
I want to get well, right now, because it's, you know, it's all about diversity, as you can tell from my website.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking for Asian individuals and for particularly Black women, or, you know, I also if there's a well-known, interesting person over 60 from the transgender community, I would really be interested to photograph that. I want to add specifically, I'm looking for that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, but I'm not going to say no to anyone that I feel is interesting.
Now, in your everyday work, you photograph all ages, all backgrounds.
Everyday work,
from kids all the way up.
Kids all the way up.
Yeah.
Kids, I mean, the kids are cool. Sometimes the stage parents are not. They can be a little weird and overbearing, shall we say? So, but a lot of them, the majority of them are nice. You know, I've had good experiences with the majority of my clients. But yeah, I get a lot of reward from photographing actors that are just on working actors that I photograph on the daily. Well, it slowed down during COVID, as we know, but
Yes.
yeah, I get a lot of satisfaction from seeing them on TV shows as guest stars, guest leads, co-stars. You know, there's quite a few that are working actors. They may not be quote unquote stars yet, but I don't really care about. I'm impressed with people who do their craft.
Yeah.
You know, and now one of them that I photographed recently, Nathania Alexander. She is one of the leads on Lena Dunham's new show, Generations, on HBO Max. So she made it very big to be a lead on that show. And I photographed the first headshots of her in the second round. So that's so rewarding to see these young actors like that. And she's a very nice person. And especially, it's fun to see. I think I get the biggest kick out of seeing the end results and capturing who that person really is, that vibe there.
What do you look for? I mean, they always say it's all in the eyes.
It's a very good question.
Yeah, but what do you?
Yeah,
I know they always say it's all it's all in the eyes. But for you,
what do I look for?
What do you look for when you're photographing
It's a great
subject?
question, Jim. I look for energy, for who they are. When someone walks out of the elevator, because in my studio there's an elevator, it comes right into the studio, and I feel their energy from the minute they walk out, and I'm studying them. I'm asking them questions about their career. I'm asking them their goals. I'm asking them their aspirations and where they see themselves. And based on that, we choose wardrobe for certain looks, because nowadays with headshots, it's not like the old day where you had to have, you had one great shot, Variety is the key now. So you want to show variety and their energy and what they're all about and who these people are. So that also you want to show, like, casting directors, everybody knows they don't always have the most imagination. They have to see it.
Right.
So some of the shots nowadays, since Actors Access, these are websites, and casting networks, you can put up a number of pictures. So say they're casting for a drug dealer or a criminal or a sweet boyfriend or a romantic type or whatever. You want to show that. That's why I think actors, they would tend to get their pictures updated more lately or come in for a little brush up. I offer the flexible packages so they can come in for a brush up if they just want to do one or two, like 2 looks.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's in the eyes. It's really in the eyes, and it's
the
energy.
Yeah.
It's their energy that you got to get out. And based on that, I figure out how I'm going to do the lighting, you see? So I use both natural and I use artificial lights. Lately, I've been using a lot of LED lights. They seem to be very in right now. Steady lights. There. That was a cool shot. Armand.
Yeah, I love that.
Armand just got a very good agent Armand Madeo. Give him a little plug. He got a very good agent in California, and he's Italian, and but he could play multi-ethnic. Is very multicultural. Is very in, and ethnically ambiguous. Is very in. He's Italian, but he could also play a different
Latin or Greek
Greek, maybe even
Romanian or
Romanian. Yes, I mean, so in that case, I use the LED lights, but then in the back,
it's cool what you did with that lighting, the colors too.
Isn't it cool? Yeah, thanks. In the back, I put a tungsten light, which made it go very orange and yellow. So I played with it, with the backlighting. So I had a number of lights going in that shot.
Very cool.
So you see, you can create different moods.
Right.
And then in the studio, we have an outdoor area. It's a deck where it's a big patio where we just open the window and we can go right out there. So that can create a whole nother, it's kind of gritty. You can do a real gritty, tough look or Law and Order look.
Yeah. I certainly know what you mean about mood lighting.
Mood lighting. Your lighting right there, you've got your lighting down. It's very nice for you.
Appreciate that.
Yeah.
Coming from the expert.
Yeah. We did a little side lighting here on me today, which is very kind of in vogue right now.
Yes.
Both in video and photography, where you add a little, so it picks out the cheeks, the light.
Yeah, like a shadowing, right?
Yeah, it's a shadowing. It's a mood. It's a definite mood.
Speaking of that technique, right?
One of my favorites, recent. This is very recent. Actually, he was in town, Nick Vallelonga.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was in town filming. He's in the new movie, the prequel to The Sopranos, The Many Saints of Newark.
Yeah.
But Nick is a 2-time Oscar winner.
Yes.
Now he won in 2019. It won both Best Picture and he won for Best Original Screenplay. I believe that was it. And for the Green Book, Mahershala Ali and Viggo Mortensen, who played Nick's dad in real life. Nick's dad is Tony Lips. I mean, you can see right there, this guy is someone, you don't mess with Nick.
Right.
And that's what he was in the hotel. He stayed at the Nomad, I believe it was. It was a beautiful hotel. We had the whole place to ourselves since it was in COVID, and we took that in the library, as you can see from the books. And
what was your aim? What were you looking for with
film
this?
noir? I wanted to go very film noir with him. I told him that was my goal. That was my vision for that. And so that's exactly what we did with him. And we took a number of sets. I mean, I have some great shots of him behind a bar. We had it all to ourselves. We didn't have a drink, but he's terrific. He was introduced to me by the VP of BMG Records.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and he was. It was a really good subject to photograph. I mean, amazing interview he gave me too. Jose Gonzalez. Love Jose. He's just wonderful. Now, this man is getting a lot of He's getting a lot of work, you know. I just saw him on. He had a nice. See, this is what I'm talking about. He has a good agent. I believe he is with. It's either Carson Adler or something Adler. You know, I think there's a couple of them. I can't keep track of them all, you know. I mean, but I can tell you that Jose was. I just was on Rosh Hashanah. We had the TV on. I was spending it in Jersey with my friend, and all of a sudden he came on. I had a great scene in Power. No Power.
Yeah.
The new series that they're doing, Raising Cain. That's the new theme of it. And he was really good. He's a good actor, and he does stunts too. He's like a big bodybuilder guy. As you can tell, he could definitely play a guy to be reckoned with, shall we say.
When you're taking the shots, are they generally coming with their own wardrobe, and you're looking for different wardrobe looks?
I advise them.
Yeah.
That's why we talk. I prefer to have a little phone conversation before we do the actual shoot, because I don't know. There's something about talking to somebody and learning a little bit about them that doesn't always translate via email or text. You know, so I prefer to have a little brief conversation with them, and based on that, we'll decide what they're going to be wearing. You see, and
how has that changed with COVID and all? Has that changed the game a little bit?
COVID is like, well, wow. I was lucky in the beginning of. Well, first of all, I'm blessed that I didn't
get it.
That I know of. I didn't get it. I'm vaccinated, of course, but I didn't get it. And so all through the initial pandemic, before the vaccinations, I would get one time, like 3 people a week at the studio, which was amazing to me, because a lot of people just completely had to close shop. It's very sad.
Yeah.
And so I was blessed that way. And, you know, now, you know, it's a little different, you know. Obviously, they can't wear a mask when I'm photographing them. So
taking more outdoor photography?
No, well, but the studio itself is very airy.
Yeah.
It's a very airy loft. So there's no recycled air really in it. So it's a safe environment.
That's good.
Nothing's happened. And people feel comfortable there. You know, you just follow protocol, you know. But, you know, it's tough, you know.
It's
tough
a whole
time. Tough time.
Whole new world.
People are like, some people are, you know, a lot of people are still hesitant, you know, they don't.
With the Delta situation.
Delta variants and all that stuff, you know, they're still hesitant. They don't necessarily want to. It's not back 100%, but I did get. It looks like I got a big on location job with a very big law firm I work for called Dentons in a few weeks, photographing a lot of attorneys in-house.
Oh, that's great.
So, you know, that's good. So, you know, to do this, you know, they require you wear the mask in their office and show proof of vaccination and stuff. And so so that's really good. You know, I'm glad that, because
I knew they'll put a smile on your face.
That put a smile on my face. You know, she has a twin sister too. And they're both they both model and commercial print, because I do photos for model types, commercial print types, which means that maybe they're not quite tall enough to do high fashion, but or they have a different look than high fashion. But she's beautiful, and she does act as well.
What's her name?
Oh God. What is her name?
You see so many people.
I see so many people, and I'm so good with faces, but it's like
Right.
with names on some of these people. I don't know. I forget, but she's got a twin sister. I didn't think to write their names down, but she's really
a beautiful shot. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I do some of my own. I mean, she's got beautiful skin anyway.
And it has that shadowing that we were talking about.
And that's because I put her between two walls.
The brick wall.
And so the shadow comes from here where there isn't as much light.
Mm-hmm.
And it sculpts the face.
It does, right.
You see? And so that is it's
another nice one.
Definitely has a nice feel to it, and that's an example of she could be maybe a detective.
How's that look?
Because the brick in my studio outside, it's not that new phony looking brick. It's lived in brick.
Right.
It looks tough. It looks rough. It looks like so.
Oftentimes,
aged. So oftentimes I do a shot for a Law and Order look out there, or a CSI look, that type of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool. Look at this shot.
Okay. Now I give it, that woman's name is Lillian Cologne. I give it to Lillian. She's about, I don't want to say her age. No, I do, because I think I said it publicly. She's part of my project. I think she's 66 or 67, and she can still kick up a storm.
As you can see, my God, look at that.
Lillian,
most people can't do that.
I don't think I could. Could you? No.
I'll have to give it a shot when we're off air.
I mean, I go to the gym,
and then I'll let you know.
that.
Yeah, that's straight up in the air. Yeah.
She teaches a dance class. She lives in Manhattan Plaza.
Yeah.
So she teaches a dance class there.
Yeah.
And a Broadway dance class.
That's great.
Now she's got a very interesting story. Now here's an example of someone for the book that's not. Okay, she's not an A-list star, but she's a person of note. She was the first Latina Rockette. And
wow.
And also she was recently in the movie In the Heights.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Lin-Manuel, yeah. And
right.
She was the oldest dancer cast in the Heights. Yeah, and she's a very lovely lady. And she's a standout.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's a real.
Now, I love the guests' reactions because they don't know what photos are coming up and what's happening.
Legendary Harry King. Now, he is a legendary hair innovator. Now he worked. He's not shy about it. He said it publicly. He's 78.
Doesn't look it at all.
Looks good.
Yeah.
Sharp, great. Swims every day. Now is a legendary, as I said, hair innovator. He did over 100 close to 100 Cosmopolitan covers, the styling of the hair, and he worked with Francesco Scavullo.
Oh, sure. Wow.
And yes, he also did almost 50 Vogue covers, working with the likes of Richard Avedon, Lord Snowden, Barry Latigan, legends.
Yeah.
He worked with all the most famous people, and he's a brilliant hair person, and he still cuts hair, and he has this guy gave me a great interview. Basically, his mentor was the legendary art director, or rather creative director, Polly Mellon.
Wow.
Yeah. And he was from, Harry is from fashion's heyday. And he could tell you all the stories about all the supermodels. And he worked with Elizabeth Taylor, everybody. So he was really fun to work with, Oh, yeah. Now, Adam Grodman. I just photographed him. Wonderful. I like this shot a lot because he's handsome but quirky. And I think that kind of a look, they weren't real. And his agent chose this. It was one of the shots he chose. I think I sent you another where he's completely the opposite. To me here, he looks like, now that's a different one.
Different guy. He does look completely different there. If that was him.
Yeah, that's a different fellow. But Adam, that's Adam. Yeah. So you see the difference between, this is what I like to do. I like to take them through different characterizations.
Right.
He's got a slight edge there, but he's definitely a devious. I could see this one on the CW, on Riverdale, or Gossip Girl, so that's what I was thinking when I photographed him, and he has a look, he's got a look. And as I say, I think it's a very modern look because it's just not, it's not like the typical blue-eyed blonde hair guys aren't really as in right now. Now, I'm not saying that's a good thing or a bad thing. I think everyone deserves a chance. But just
everything
right
goes
now,
through cycles.
It goes through cycles. The way the business is, and
that's why they say you should never have thrown out your bell bottoms, because they'll come back.
Oh my God! Do you still have yours?
Do you have yours?
No, they don't fit anymore.
That is funny.
Not that I'm obese or anything. But they don't fit.
That is funny.
Oh, I believe her name is Ronelle.
Nice shot.
And she's a beautiful, beautiful girl as well. Now that one I took with not with the LED lights, and it's not natural light. I believe I took that with a strobe, a big softbox, big light, boom.
Yeah.
And
amazing how lighting makes such a world of difference.
Oh, it totally does.
Yeah.
My gosh, it totally does.
Changes the whole look and feel of a subject. Yeah.
Yeah. And she's definitely got a look, and she's confident. That's another thing in a photo. They need to look very confident, like they're ready to take on that. I always tell them, bring it.
Yeah.
You're ready to take on, you're going to nail that audition.
Right.
A lot of auditions now, because of COVID, as you're probably aware, are self-taped.
Self-tape's huge now. Yes.
Huge. Now, some actors love it.
And some don't.
Some
Yeah.
do not. They can't get the hang of it. They don't like it. And in a sense, there's something I understand, because you're not really making that personal contact, but it is what it is. Yeah. You have to do what you have to do, but
That's so true.
so, but this guy was very handsome.
Looks almost European.
He's I believe he said he's part South American. Yeah, or something like that. This was a while ago, and he does okay. So from these shots, he got a very good commercial agent named Bella. The agency's name is Bella.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
and they handle a lot of very good looking guys, and he kind of wanted to be more of a model. He wasn't that interested in acting, but I was pleased to see him on their roster, and so that was
looks like somebody you will also see on a soap opera,
soap
right?
opera.
Yes.
Totally.
Yeah.
Oh my God, yeah. He's got that look.
Soap opera.
Classic. He's a classic look.
The classic look.
That's a classic look.
Yeah.
This is the same guy that was in the fiery background picture.
Right.
One. But it's another shoot. I've shot Armand about 3 times. I love this shot. I just think his eyes in this shot speak to me so much. And, his hair he's very particular about his hair. And, but his hair looks perfect here, and his skin. And I think what I like about this shot the most, one of the things is that the muted greens, the colors seem to all blend. Yeah, very nicely.
It's the shirt, the background, everything.
It's a very evocative mood.
And very cohesive.
Very cohesive, yes. So
it's because it centers, it brings you around and then right to his face.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then to the eyes.
Right.
Like now, for instance, I do retouching on almost all these shots you show are retouching, but they're still it's natural. Right. Because see, the fault that some of these kids make,
they want their noses smaller, and
I mean it's you know what it is, Jim?
Yeah.
They use this face tune too much.
Yeah. Apps. Like all that Instagram stuff.
They end up looking, that Instagram.
And they look like a cartoon character.
They look like an anime. Anime is that
anime or meme.
Not anime, like a woman.
Yeah, anime, and then
anime or whatever it's
or a meme, or they don't look real. And then when they show up where you're seeing them up close, or you're going to a casting, they look at the photo and they look at the person, and they're like, you don't look anything like that person.
And they hate that. The casting
they don't, because they think you're wasting their time.
That's one thing. If I could tell the actors, please don't do that.
Seems to be an in thing lately, right?
Professional do the retouching.
Do you find a lot of people, they want the whole photo completely overhauled? They want the nose smaller. They want the skin smoother.
Less so now, because real and raw is more in. Now,
so if you have a scar, that might almost it might act, or like a mole here, or something that might actually add character now.
Exactly.
So you can't. If you have something here, that's part of your. It isn't like an acne that comes and goes. If you have something that's here or down here or whatever, like a brown mole or scar, if you remove it and then you go into casting and they're like, well, there it is, but not in the photo. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, I usually ask them, I usually with a scar, maybe I'll soften it a little bit.
Yeah, if it's
I don't
something
want it if it's bad because I don't want it to be the main focus of the photo.
of the photo.
You see,
So
but
that's what's changed then, huh? It's things are more
things are
authentic, more
more real.
organic,
That's
more
what they
real
want,
now.
more organic. Yes, more real. They still want them to look good, but not like this. See, Instagram and Facebook, you see these pictures and you've seen them. How many times have you seen somebody and you say, "Oh, honey,
Especially on Instagram.
you don't look like that."
But
There's
then they
no
make
way.
them where they look like a cartoon character
You
or
look
something
like
like
a
that. Oh, a
cartoon or a
stone.
blow-up
Yeah, I don't
doll. I've
stand that.
never. It's too much. I mean, yeah, that's you know. So yeah, that's
But what about now? I mean, is it hard for photographers now because people are is quality still king? Meaning a lot of things are now done on the fly because
no,
everybody has
such
a
a good.
phone. Everybody has a phone that takes
Oh my God, that's such a good
pictures.
point.
They take video, so they don't need the videographer anymore. And it's all like you'll have a wedding where they'll have these instant cameras on all the tables and tell people to take the pictures, and they don't have the photographer with those beautiful shots.
It's such
That's
a
how
good
has that
point.
changed? Yeah.
It's such a good point. Now, the truth is, it used to be a select group of us that did headshots, for instance. I mean, and we were associated with reproductions, which is no longer, unfortunately, they're a victim of COVID. They went out.
Oh, did I use them a lot over
But
the
they
years?
have, but yes,
They,
but they still have freelancing. They're wonderful retoucher. So if there's a person I don't really want to retouch,
yeah.
I think they're going to be difficult, or maybe I think they're going to do a better job at it.
But reproductions went under. I didn't realize
Reproductions
that.
went
They
under,
were great.
of course,
Yeah, I used them a lot over the
and
years.
I'm trying to look here for the. I want to give this guy uh, a a plug because I feel like.
So for people that want
No,
to
so
do this,
anyway,
go
so
into
the
acting and
so
to know that it's more of a real, authentic look is
no,
actually a good thing. That's a
it's
good thing
it's a good it's good, but you got to
because you
know
could
what
have
you're doing.
right.
See,
You might have somebody who's saying, "Oh, well, I don't have the look. I don't look like that perfect person, that perfect model." But that's not what they're looking for anymore, which is
no,
refreshing
no,
for people that might want to go into these areas, and
they don't want to
that's
look
what
too
stops them.
fake.
You don't want
But
to look
the
plastic.
problem is though that there's right now you've got like an overabundance of photographers.
Yeah.
Every kid, every millennial actor thinks, "Oh, I'll do your headshots for $50 or $100."
With their
And I don't know if they use, you know, maybe some of them, I'm going to be honest, they're good. They're technically very good, some of them, but they don't really get into the person's soul. I noticed that they don't get to the core of the actor in the headshot or the portrait. So unfortunately, there's a lot of them now out there, and maybe or a lot of them will just go to the park and take a picture. And so you asked about the mediocrity. Unfortunately, is it more acceptable now
in so many different areas.
in so many
Yes.
different areas in any area, and it's very uh, disappointing, to tell you the truth.
Could be frustrating too. Yeah.
It's very
Yeah.
frustrating, and
Well,
it's
even
very,
with a show like this, all the work that goes into a show
I'm
just
sure that
like
you have like
this,
people.
you know, uh,
I
we could
The
just
fellow that introduced me to Nick Valalanga, I have to give his name. It was bothering me. His name is, he's the VP of BMG Records, and his name is David Polmini. I wanted to be sure to get his name out
Get
there.
it in there, yeah.
And his son is an extremely talented songwriter and a real singer. And he goes by the name Jude, Aiden Jude, Jude. And the kid is very good. He's on the charts or whatever. So
Yeah,
I had to get that in there. I cannot forget David, because
so if you see him in the street, say, "Hey, Jude."
Yeah. But back to what you were saying about the mediocrity, it's so disappointing. You know, it's
Like
like
they don't make movies with film really anymore.
I don't even like,
it's all digital now.
Jim, yeah. I don't even really go to the movies. There's a movie that's just coming out about Truman Capote and the ladies who lunch. I would find that interesting. It's low budget. I like indie films. I don't like the big budget generally. Now, I prefer TV. There's a lot of good TV now.
Yeah.
I mean, the series are very good. They're, you know, I like a lot of some of the Ryan Murphy stuff, you know, but on Netflix, there's so many great things.
Mm-hmm.
The British shows.
Yeah.
French. I'm watching something now called Clickbait.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, so I find that it's the golden age of TV, really, because there's so many different channels.
There's so many channels: Netflix, Hulu, Roku, of course, PBS, all the networks,
Amazon Prime,
Paramount Plus.
Yeah.
Amazon Prime now, right?
I mean, but it truly is. It's disappointing too in the lack of professionalism with people. You know, and as you say, I'm sure you encounter it with these talk shows.
Oh, with everything, yeah.
Everyone's a star.
Everybody's a host. Everybody's a star. Everybody
paid their dues.
Right.
Like both of us have been at this a while, and you know, you've worked with some very important people. I've worked with some very important people. I mean, everybody's important. Don't get me wrong. But I mean, they just haven't paid their dues. It's not like in the used. I don't want to sound like
the farm system where you sort of work your way up.
Aggressive or anything.
Right.
But yeah, but you know, I think you're better off to hire a professional. I do. And my prices are extremely flexible, so they can look that up on my website.
Yeah.
You know.
Absolutely. Yeah. Here's another shot.
I love Johnny. Okay, so that's Johnny Poole, and I recently photographed him. Johnny has a story. First of all, this year has not been an easy year for him. He's been very ill. We were afraid we were going to lose him, but we haven't. He's got 9 lives.
For those watching like around the world, tell us who he is.
Yeah, Elvis Duran. There's a TV show, a radio show called the Elvis Duran Show.
Right.
He's was on every Friday as a guest, on the regular guest. People know him. He's got thousands, hundreds of thousands Instagram followers, Johnny. And he's regular with that Elvis Duran, a regular guest.
On iHeartRadio, yeah. Yeah,
iHeartRadio. And he's also a Fire Island legend.
Oh, yeah.
And he, I believe, was one of the first bartenders out on Fire Island. I believe it was in the 60s. So he has so much history to tell. And he worked at the original Stonewall. And he says he was there the night before the riots. And, he can tell you so many stories. He said I think I can say this because I think he's pretty open about it. Oh, maybe I shouldn't. I didn't ask him.
It'll be in the book.
Yeah, it'll be in the book. It's not a big, yeah. But what a wonderful guy. He actually lives on the floor above me.
Oh, wow.
In the studio.
Ah.
Yeah, where I do the shooting. And really nice, and got a million stories. He was Judy Garland's escort around town back in the 60s.
Really?
All the bars.
That I didn't know. Yeah.
He's been around. They just had a big birthday celebration for him in Cherry Grove. Yeah.
That's amazing, huh? Yeah, everybody has a story, right? And you learn that as a photographer.
That's what I'm saying.
Everybody has you're kind of like the hairstylists, you're like the bartender,
they tell you everything.
Dental hygienist. They tell you everything they might be a little trepidatious in the beginning, but then as they open up and they feel more comfortable and relaxed, which is what you're skilled at getting them to do, feel safe and comfortable, and no judgment, right? You're not judging them.
No judgment.
Safe zone, and they reveal, right?
They confess to me.
So there's an art to what you do that goes beyond just the physical photography. It's the relationship. It's how you can sort of size up how they're feeling and what's going on based on just how they're walking in the door, and then how you have to maybe recalibrate or reset based on a mood that they're in or something that's going on in their life, and give them the space to be able to remote, which then can really bring out some amazing photography, right?
Yeah, no. And it's also psychological.
There's like a psychology involved in it.
There's a total psychology involved with working with people. A lot of people, I'll be honest, they couldn't do it.
No, right.
It can be very draining.
Right.
It can wipe you out.
Yes.
Certain people can wipe you out. Certain, as you know, I mean,
it'll be in the book.
I'm a more private person. I have many stories. I could write a memoir.
Have you thought to do that eventually?
I might.
Yeah.
But I don't know how much I want to reveal. There's things I'll take with me to the grave probably. But, the fact is that that some people leave you just so drained.
Yeah.
And I can usually tell, Jim, when the elevator opens, when they come in the studio, I can tell. I feel the vibe right away. I said, "Oh, this one's going to be a problem.
Yeah,
this one's going to be a nightmare." Oh, and
it's in the way that when they come out of the elevator, so happy for them to have departed. It slams closed quick.
And the elevator in my building is a little temperamental anyway. So, I mean, but it's like you can just pick up a vibe.
And then you have to work with that. Yeah.
Yeah, and you have to work with that. And
you got to work with that.
I don't want to go into too much about it. But
it'll be in the book.
Yeah, I mean,
there's another great shot. I love this reaction.
Carmen D'Alessio. Now, okay, thank you. Now this is a recent shoot. Oh, she was so much fun. She's a diva, nightlife. As she put it, she's the queen of the night and day. And she's just amazing. She was one of the key founders of Studio 54. She brought in the international jet set. She's a nightlife impresario internationally. She's from Peru. So, very fashionable.
Yeah. A lot of energy. Excitement, and
oh my goodness,
great sense of humor.
Oh my goodness, you have no idea.
Yeah.
And she asked for me to bring a bottle of this whispering angel rosé, which is really what everyone's drinking this for the photo shoot. So that was fun too. We had a little party. But a legend in
Yeah.
not the
Yeah.
acting world, but the nightlife world.
But the nightlife world,
No,
right?
for sure.
Yeah.
And the red hair. See, with her, I made the determination that I wanted to. She said her apartment gets a lot of natural light, but sometimes if you're not a photographer, you don't really realize if it's enough. So it does get natural light, but I brought a big old tungsten light. I think it's from the 70s or something I have. And it just, when you use it a certain way and don't color correct it, which I didn't here, it makes everything look very golden in sunlight.
Yeah.
Carmen is all about traveling to Ibiza and Mykonos and, the French Riviera,
Yeah, you can tell. Yeah. Really, really
Yeah.
great shot.
So that's
Absolutely.
what we wanted to capture in her.
That's yeah.
Yeah.
And you definitely have.
Thank you. Oh, I love Lisa Charles. Yeah.
This
Now
is the cover of her book.
it is, and she was I asked for a hard copy of it, and she sent it to me the other day. I have the hard copy of it, and it's this picture, and she gave me a nice credit because us photographers don't like it when we don't get credit because that helps bring us business.
That's right.
So
It's very important.
She was very thoughtful because I think it's thoughtless when people don't. Sometimes they might give credit and you can't blame them. You might blame the publisher didn't do it. So it's not always their fault.
Or the manager or something. Yeah.
Yeah. But she's all about empowering, positive empowerment and exercising. And it's like it says right there, the brain, the body connection.
Mm-hmm.
So
To achieve your true desires. Yeah.
Yeah. And the nice thing about her is that she not only she's a woman that's not like anorexic, shall we say. She's it's a real woman's body.
She's a real person. Yeah.
And she encourages and empowers women with curves too. And I think that's wonderful. She's hip too.
Who's this guy?
Oh God. This guy.
Who's this guy? Now, was he
boy.
easy to work with? Or is he tough?
Yeah. Well, you have to know the right light with him. Because
what were you aiming for when you were working with him?
I'm getting out of the picture.
Yeah,
it's okay. There. What was I aiming for?
Yeah,
a mystery.
A mystery.
I love my glasses. I thought about wearing them.
By the way, everybody, that is Jeffrey. That's a cool shot of you, actually, Jeffrey.
Thank you. These are my glasses, but I didn't wear.
Oh, are they transitions?
Yeah, the transitions. I love transitions.
So the light created the shade look. Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't want to wear them for this show because they do cast a glare, and I felt like wouldn't be really communicative enough. But for this picture, it was great.
Yeah. Cool shot.
Thank you.
Yeah. I like it. The photographer has to have a photo of himself.
Oh, definitely.
Right?
Are you kidding?
Why do you love this work, Jeffrey?
Okay.
We're doing it a long time.
I do still love this after all this time. I think it's a different scenario every day. It's like when you go to a job, like a 9-to-5 job. Well, that can be a different scenario every day too, but it is more predictable. This you never know. You never know who's going to call, who's going to email, or what request. And I get a pleasure out of seeing people happy and seeing them, getting work from my photos. It means a great deal to me. The results. And it's a challenge. Keeps you challenged. And just keeps you on your toes, and I like it for all those reasons. And those are the main things I really like about it, that I love about it.
Because as much as it's rewarding and enjoyable, there's a lot of work, right? And
It's a lot of work. It's not.
And you got to constantly keep up with the latest trends and the latest equipment to the camera equipment. So expensive.
Camera is it's a very expensive business. It's not something you get into, like you're not a finance guy where you're like, I'm going to become a millionaire or a multimillionaire. If it happens, that's great. But, it's not like that. You do it for the art.
Right.
And maybe because I was raised with artists, I have that sensibility, especially from my mom and my dad, rest in peace.
Yeah.
So that's why it, as they say, it ain't all glamour, kid. It's just like the old joke with the kid that he just arrived in New York, and he says to the police officer, "Which way to?" And he was an ingenue. "Which way to Broadway, officer?" And the officer says, "It takes years, kid."
Right.
So, but I feel in a way like that kind of work ethic isn't always prevalent. People want things very easy now, don't
quick and on the cheap and fast, and not have to like the lack of putting the time in is almost celebrated now versus,
it's getting away with things.
Because sometimes it's the journey that is the rich part, not reaching the top, but it's all the things you did and all the people you've met and all the experiences you've had getting to that point, as opposed to just shooting right to that point. And then what do you do from there? It's all the things you've had to go through. Then when you get to the top, if you're able to, you look back and you're like, wow, no, that was rewarding. I've earned this. That was really, the ups and the downs and the craziness of it all and the pleasures of it all. It really makes the success much richer because you know what you've had to do to get there. And you can say
you've really lived, that you've
lived, right?
You've lived, you've seen the lights, I feel like things are too easy in a way. Like when we used to shoot film, you had to be really good. I mean, now it's a breeze compared to that because you can see your results automatically. But you had to you wouldn't see your results till you saw your contact sheets, your proof sheets. And that was when I think of how much more work it was, like you would do the shoot, develop the film at the lab. Then you have to go pick up the contact sheets. You have to make an appointment with the client to come back, look them over. Then they bring it to their agent or whoever. Then you have to print the pictures.
It's a lot. That's a lot.
That's a lot of work. Digital is much, in a sense. I've got to be honest. I like it more, just because it's less stressful.
And you can the speed of it,
and it speed it up so you don't have to always interact so much with people that, as I say, some are wonderful and some are draining, and you don't have to do that. And it's kind of really less expensive too, because you don't buy film or anything.
Right, exactly.
And so that, yeah.
What would you say to somebody who's watching this, who's being inspired by what we're talking about, and they would love to go into this line of work?
Be a photographer? I'd say forget it. Don't do it. No, I don't want to say.
A lot of performers will say something along the lines of, gee, if you are 50% in about being a performer, like an actor or a singer or what have you, but the other 50% is an interest in being an accountant, go with the accounting, because you have to be 100% in, and you have to really love it to do it.
It's very true. That's so true. I would say now, to become established in any kind of a name is not that easy, because there's so many
people doing.
There's just so many kids and well, I guess there's nothing wrong with
everyday people.
Everyday people doing it, and that they should know that if they're going to get into it, you better be prepared. I guess if you're a trust fund kid, you'll have it a lot easier.
True. Right.
I'm not, and
yeah.
But
you're hustling and doing your thing. You
gotta be able to hustle and do your thing.
But you've developed over all these years a great clientele.
Yes. Thank you. Yes.
Yeah.
And
and a great reputation, a name.
Yes. I mean, thank you. I strive, and it's always a struggle, but life is a struggle, especially in New York City.
Yeah.
I mean, and you got to realize that you're going to
hustle and bustle.
If you're not willing to do that, then I would just go be the accountant.
Be the accountant. Yeah.
or do acting after you maybe retire.
Right. Once you've made the money, right, then you can go do that other thing you want to do. Right.
But you have to have the passion.
Yeah.
If you don't have the passion, then I wouldn't do it. Why do it?
Right. Exactly. This was fantastic, Jeffrey. Really getting a chance to chat with you and
I loved it.
See some of the work that you've done. That just really scratches the surface. Those few photos there, but
I could talk all day on this.
Yeah,
but, it really has been a pleasure. I love your format, the way you do this. I think it's a fantastic format. It's very human. It's very conversational. You're very well spoken. You make a very good conversation. Yeah, it's like sitting down, you're having a cup of coffee with somebody.
Right. Do you have your cup there?
Believe it or not, I have my water.
Let's toast. Cheers to health.
Cheers to health.
There you go.
A good year.
L'chaim and
L'chaim. And yeah. So it's wonderful. I'm so glad to have done this.
Well, we'll have to see you at some point and break bread. That would be fantastic. Love to do that. Love to do that and compare notes.
Tell you some of the things I couldn't say on here.
Yeah. I'll get the inside scoop, off the air.
off the record.
No. This is the smooth version, right?
Exactly.
PG.
Yes.
But the bottom line is you love it. You've been doing it a long time. You're dedicated to it, and you're very affable and professional, and you like to have a good time with the clients.
We like to have a good time.
Right. Yeah, and
have laughs.
A myriad of different kinds of photography and specializing in portraiture, of course, which is
we've covered it very well in your show too. I must say, I think the questions were very pertinent, and you showed the examples. Your timing was impeccable with the,
Appreciate that. And we don't script anything. We don't have pre-questions. It's all off the cuff, conversational.
You got to be ready to
best,
like off the cuff.
Exactly.
Some people are better at it, I think, than others. If I'm not,
Right.
I'm,
Yeah. There are people who need everything written down and
no,
already
I've
rehearsed,
never.
prepared, but
I've done a lot of seminars and stuff, talking about acting and everything. So
yeah. Well, I hope the show met whatever expectations you had and you
it,
enjoyed the
it,
time with me
it exceeded
and
my
with you.
expectations. It exceeded them.
I appreciate that very much.
Yeah.
There's somebody that's with us that's my sidekick that just wanted to say that
Oh.
you did good, kiddo. George Burns is with us.
Oh God, he would have been what I wouldn't have
A
given.
great subject to photograph,
I
right?
would have loved to have photographed him. I don't want to say shot because um I mean plus he played God, right?
He played God,
Yeah,
so
so I mean him, Joan Rivers, I would have loved
Joan
it.
Rivers, yeah.
But
Yeah,
then there's a new crops.
right, exactly. So George
I'll
says
keep you
you
abreast.
did well on the show today,
Well, thank
kiddo.
you, George. I appreciate it. And tell Gracie I said thank you too.
Absolutely.
See, they won't all get that reference, but
Right.
but
Just watch this episode a few times, folks, and then
yes.
do some Wikipedia
Some
research, and then you'll put it all together.
Yes, yes.
And
Indeed.
the website, of course, is your name, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
www.jeffreyhornstein.com.
There's the spelling of it there, Jeffrey Hornstein. And this was cool, my friend. Really enjoyed it.
Very cool.
And keep spreading the word about the Jim Masters
Oh, I
show
will.
on our YouTube channel, Jim Masters
I
TV.
certainly. I will.
And now that you know that when you see the word subscribe,
that you don't.
it's free. You just click it,
We
and
all
that
love
means
that.
you mean
So,
right. Free is good, and I mean it just
free is
means you're
good.
following the show, right?
I love that. Of course.
You're the best. This was a pleasure, and we want to make sure that we mention that our recent fabulous guest we had, who's a friend and client of yours, Eve Austin, was on the show. People may remember that terrific episode where Eve was my guest, and that sort of was the linkage a little bit, right? Right.
Yeah.
We had already known of each other, but Eve being on sort of catapulted your coming on as a guest on the show as well. And Eve is wonderful to photograph, right?
Oh, she's a beautiful woman. And, she's got great energy.
She does.
Terrific. We recently had dinner at the Smith, which is a great place. They make the best burgers. And,
now we're getting hungry. Uh-oh.
Yeah, I don't eat a lot of red meat, but
yeah, no, I don't either. Yeah,
but once in a while. She's kind of she's a glamorous woman and dresses beautifully, and she's such a hard worker.
She really is. Yeah, we discussed some of that during that show. Yeah, on the episode.
Oh, she's a hard worker. I give her a lot of credit.
Yeah,
she's doing well too. She's also talented as hell.
Yeah, she's very talented. Exactly, and a great subject to photograph, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I love shooting her. She wants to play around with different looks.
Yes, right. Yeah.
Like she said.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, my friend, thanks for being with us. This was awesome. And again, yeah, I appreciate that. And spread the word about the show. We will continue to do so for you as well. And
thank you.
Keep capturing the world as you do with your style and grace and talent.
Thank you so much, sir. And the same to you.
I appreciate that. My father has always said, and I've mentioned it on this show, whenever anybody says something nice, ask them to put it in writing and address it management.
Exactly, because too many people say cruel things.
You got to say, right? Exactly. Positive is good. It's all about positive energy on our show.
All about that. I can tell.
Yeah,
I love that.
That's what it's all about. Absolutely. So, now, as I say to all the guests, get the circulation going and go stretch those legs.
All right.
And you've got a cat in the other room that's probably scratching the door, right?
Trying to get into the bedroom.
Trying to get in. Yeah.
She's not scratching. She's
just wow.
I'll be lucky if she doesn't scratch me. her name's Lucy.
Lucy. All right. Well, you take care, Jeffrey. All right.
All right.
Be well.
You too, Jim.
All right. Thanks for being with us on the show.
Ciao.
Bye-bye now.
Bye.
Jeffrey Hornstein in New York City, famed photographer extraordinaire. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Again, his website, of course, is jeffreyhornstein.com. You can see a lot of examples of his amazing work. We certainly hope you enjoy this. You learned about the famed New York photographer, but also maybe a little about the photography industry and some of the incredible people he's had an opportunity to photograph. We just really scratched the surface of his work. I mean, he's been doing this for, some 30 years or so. And that's a lot of people. That's a lot of work. That's a lot of rolls of film and digital memory cards now and so much more. But again, for those of you who like to learn something new on our show, as much as our show is entertaining and we have a lot of fun on our show, we always learn. We always find a way to learn something, don't we? We get educated and we celebrate life. We celebrate you, me, us, our guests on the Jim Masters Show Live in this style of bringing back the lost art of conversation, which has been really, really tremendous on this episode and really all the episodes of our series. So thanks to everybody watching around the world. We appreciate you guys. And of course, we always toast to everybody just in our basic coffee cup today. And now, of course, as usual, my hot coffee has become iced coffee. So we're going to put an ice cube in it. As we always do. We toast all of you, our amazing, faithful, lovely audience watching the Jim Masters Show Live. Again, for those of you discovering us for the first time, this isn't just an interview show. We don't just, do a video and just throw it up there. It's very interactive, conversational. Our viewers have been commenting throughout the show. Thanks for all the great comments that have been coming in as well. We appreciate that. All the chat, because you can chat during our broadcasts as well. And then also, we would absolutely love it if you can give this episode a thumbs up on our YouTube channel. That helps the show. You know why? Because YouTube sees that, they take this episode and then they blast it out to even more people when they see your thumbs up, that's that little thumbs up icon there on our YouTube channel. And also leave a comment if you enjoyed this episode and any of the over 400 and almost 90 episodes that we have done of the Jim Masters Show Live Entertainment Lifestyle Talk Show series with guests coming in from all backgrounds, all walks of life, Broadway, Hollywood, television, film, music, culinary arts, comedy, photography, inspiration, sports, you name it, health and wellness, science and nature, and of course, us coming together, you and me. I absolutely love it. All right. Enjoy the rest of your morning, noon, or night, because I know some people watch live when the shows are on. Some people watch recorded when these are recorded in the archive at, all different hours of the day. And sometimes, it could be morning, noon, or night when you're watching. So whatever time of day it is, we thank you very much for being with us. It's always a blast. Again, don't forget, you can find us with more episodes on this wonderful YouTube channel that we have, which is Jim Masters TV. And again, we would love it if you subscribe to it. Just click that subscribe button. There's no costs. It's not a membership or anything. It's just saying that you're following us. And Jim Masters TV, of course, is a channel dedicated to entertaining, informing, educating, and inspiring. The YouTube channel is Jim Masters TV. The name of the show, of course, is The Jim Masters Show. And as we always say when we wrap up our broadcast, we say, don't forget to smile. Don't forget to share the lovity. Very important to do that. And find your Zen place. Mine, of course, number one is with loving family and friends. And then, of course, the career in television, radio, stage, and film, and the various opportunities with stations and networks, production companies, you name it, that I've had an opportunity to work with on camera, on air, and behind the scenes. And also the ocean. That's actually the South Shore of Long Island, New York. That's the Atlantic Ocean where that shot was taken. And love the ocean. Got to pull me out of it. I'm always swimming, surfing, boogie boarding, sailing, just being near it. And we're just blocks from it here on the coast in the New York, New Jersey, Connecticut tri-state area on the southern New England coast between New York and Boston, and really, really love it. So find your Zen place and just enjoy it. We thank again our very special guests. There's that cool shot of him. Famed New York photographer Jeffrey Hornstein for joining us as our special guest on this episode of the Jim Masters Show. And of course, we thank all of you for joining us as well. Spread the word, spread the word. You always ask, what can I do? Spread the word, share the links on your social media. Tell everybody about this unique place that we have created. Again, done in the fashion of a television show. Variety, entertainment, talk, deep conversations, viewer interactivity from around the world, and always having a good time. For all of us here, this is your host, Jim Masters, thanking you for your time this time. Till next time, gang, we love you all. Appreciate everything you do in watching and supporting our series. And we'll be back next time with lots more for you here on the Jim Masters Show Live. You be well. Take care, and thanks for joining us. Bye-bye.